Action.
Thanks. Hi and welcome back to the channel. This is a bit of a different setup. Today I am outside and it's about as cold as it looks, but that's absolutely fine. I have some tea with me, and today I thought I would do a fun Vlogmas themed video, which is basically the things that I want to quit in 2022. 2021 has been a full year. It's felt like a month. It's gone by so fast, but I'm excited to leave some things behind. I don't usually do this, but in the theme of doing Vlogmas on YouTube, I thought it would be interesting to kind of think about things that I do not want to stop doing in 2022. So let's get started. I have a list on my phone. Let's go. Number one will be playing Snake on my phone, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this game. I'll just show it to you if you haven't seen it before. So this is what the game looks like. It looks kind of like an old school Nokia phone, and you can play Snake on it, and I'm absolutely obsessed. I'm actually very good at the game too, because I remember playing it competitively with my cousins when I was very, very young, and they were quite old actually. But so I have so many fond memories of playing this game. I have so many fond memories of the old Nokia phones. But at this point, I'm absolutely obsessed with this game. I play it compulsively multiple times a day. It's gotten to the point that I might play it for an hour a day or something like that. So I think in 2022, it's time for me to delete this app. But until then, I still have time in December to kind of have fun while playing it. Another habit I want to quit in 2022 is not being clear with what I want. And this is something that I've struggled with my whole life. I'm a very, very big people pleaser, and I find it very difficult to set boundaries in ways that are explicit. So I can set boundaries in like implied ways. So usually when I set boundaries, all I do is kind of distance myself passively, or kind of be less engaged with people or something like that. But I find it extremely difficult to set explicit boundaries and say exactly what I think or feel about things and situations when they're not positive. So but I've done this once in 2021, and it completely changed my life. It was so liberating and so calming, and so many of my friends are always kind of prompting me and pushing me to do these things because they hear the real side of what I think, and then they see what I do. So I think they get quite frustrated and try to make me be explicit and say what I want. So I think in 2022 I'm going to stop this habit of just kind of slowly inching away and letting things be implied, and I'll rather just try to be more explicit with what I want and feel. Habit number 3 I want to quit in 2022 is one that I get a lot of comments on and people get very frustrated with, and that's not responding to text. I find it very difficult to catch up with all the texts on my phone. I just don't. Not that I have that much, but it's just something I don't like to do, and then I answer the text in my head and then I completely forget, and next thing I know, it's been 4 weeks or 4 months that I haven't responded to someone that I genuinely care about. And I think that this is something that I would like to slightly change in 2022. Realistically, actually. Realistically, I don't think this is going to change, but it's one of those habits that I'd like to potentially change. Oh, I don't know about this one. Number 4 is the habit of complaining. In the last few weeks already, I've banned myself from complaining, and my life feels so much better. I only complain for banter when I don't genuinely mean it, but I don't explicitly complain a lot anymore. And I feel as though things just start to look a lot more positive and happier in the world when I stop complaining about them. So in 2022, I'm going to extend my ban for quite a long time for not complaining about anything. Although this kind of goes against my explicitness, I think there's a difference between kind of stating that you're uncomfortable with something and elaborating and complaining about what you don't like about it without a solution. So the latter is the one I'm going to quit, and the former is the one that I'm going to start doing. Another habit I want to quit in 2022 is eating meat every day. I've had various different diets in the past, so I've been vegetarian and vegan and pescatarian and even carnivore at some point, but I think in 2022 I don't have any excuse to eat meat every single day. It's not good for the environment. It's probably not the best thing for my health. So I'm going to try and find a balance between vegetarian veganism some days of the week and eating a kind of full diet the rest of the week. So I need to figure that balance out, but that's definitely something I want to try in 2022. The next habit is using my phone before bed. I will scroll on my phone for absolute hours before I go to sleep sometimes, and every single night I will definitely do at least an hour of scrolling, usually through Twitter. Funny tweets and viral tweets are always absolutely hilarious and highly entertaining. I definitely do a lot of revenge procrastination around bedtime because that's the time that I get to kind of do whatever I want as opposed to working during the day. So as I'm trying to kind of fix my work-life balance a bit more, I think I'm not going to be allowed to use my phone in bed before I go to sleep. which might mean that I'm actually responding to less people. But yeah, let's see how that goes. Next habit I'm going to change in 2022 is continuing my ban on thinking about the past. I've been on a ban from thinking about the past for the last 2 or 3 months, and it's been absolutely life-changing. I can find myself feeling so much happier and so much more positive when I stop myself from ruminating on things, which I tend to do quite a lot usually. So I think this is definitely a habit that I'm going to keep going through 2022, and then let's see if I need to revisit this in the future. Another habit that I really need to stop is not checking my finances. I am very, very ashamed to admit this, but I usually never have any idea about how much money I have or how much money I'm spending. I kind of have a sense of this feels reasonable and I know that I can pay rent and be okay, but I'm not the kind of person who has any clue how much money I spend on food or transport, or I don't really buy a lot of other stuff, but gear, for example. I don't stay on top of my finances, and this is definitely something that I need to change as I get older and potentially need things like mortgages and stuff. So I need to start checking my finances in 2022. I just have this anxiety from opening my bank account that I just don't want to see how much money is in there because I feel as though I'm going to panic. And this is very, very childish, very immature. Definitely need to change this habit in 2022. Next habit I want to change is letting life happen to me or waiting to be comfortable with things before I do them. I feel as though this is one of the biggest lessons I've had from 2021, that I should just jump into things or jump into situations or jump into conversations or jump into kind of jobs and a lot of things basically without being comfortable yet. And although it's definitely good to have some self-awareness and know that, okay, I'm going to be awful at this thing and not expect myself to be amazing or the things that I do to be great, and kind of not be the loudest person, especially if I have absolutely no experience in something. But I feel as though the points in my life that I've grown the most have been when I've done things without being comfortable with them yet. Also, I've realized that people just don't care, and all that judgment that I thought I would have for being an amateur at doing things just is not really there. So I think I'm just going to continue this forward, of course with caveats of being safe and being secure in things, not just jumping off a plane without a parachute, but kind of things that I am semi-secure in. I think I want to continue starting to do things before feeling ready to do them. So doing things when I feel uncomfortable doing them is kind of the situation I want to happen in 2022. The next thing I want to change is not shopping for food and not cooking. I've gotten into an awful habit, I think because of my working hours, that I say that I don't have the time to cook, so I usually just order food all the time, and I think this is quite horrible. I used to love cooking and I used to cook every single day, all my meals, and I kind of miss that. But also I'm saving so much time. I don't know. I don't know about this one. I think it's one of those like answering texts that I think I want to do, but I'm not sure if I'll realistically be able to do. So let's see. Maybe if you have some quick meal recommendations, that would be fabulous. Another habit I want to change in 2022 is not spending so much time alone. I'm very, very comfortable with my own company, a bit too much, I think, to the point that I just can be completely on my own for weeks at a time. Especially in lockdown, I had to do this. So I think I've gotten even more comfortable with just staying by myself. And even though I think this is my kind of ideal state in general, I do find that when I push myself to hang out with other people and do things, in the end of the day, I end up feeling so much better. So even though I know that there's this huge energy of activation when it comes to accepting to do things and going out and doing things, in the end, I will feel just incredible. So I think that I'm going to force myself to spend less time alone and break this habit of just being with myself and just reading or just working on things alone in my room, and rather go out and meet people and do things. Last one, and this might be a bit of a weird one, is that I want to change the habits that I have around listening to my feelings, because I feel as though I listen to my feelings too much when it comes to the wrong things and too little when it comes to other things. I think that if I want to do something, I should just trust my gut and do it, and not go into reason and thinking that, oh, there's all these reasons why you shouldn't do this thing. I don't think that's the right thing. I think that I've always been called quite an emotional person when I was younger, and therefore I went in the whole other direction of trying to be hyper rational. And I do think that I fall onto rationality more as a safety blanket, and I'm very scared of my emotions because I feel as though we have all these connotations around emotional people just being irrational, right? And not making the right choices and just not succeeding in general, because all they listen to is their feelings and they don't use their reason. But I don't think that that's the right thing. I think that there are some things that your reasons just cannot get you out of, like the situation of what to study, for example, or what to do with your life. Very often, different options will be equally as good, or you'll have no information as to what will happen with your future. So I think in those cases, I should trust my gut a lot more than creating like endless pros and cons lists and trying to reason my way out lot of things that I just could never reason out of anyway, because there's not enough information there. So I think I want to go more towards being an emotional person and using my emotions for decision making, rather than thinking that there's something inherently better about rationality in general, because I'm moving a lot more against stoicism. I used to be very much of a stoic. I'm moving against this. So no more stoic habits so a lot less stoic habits in 2022, a lot less not trusting my feelings in 2022, and a lot less of using reason for deciding what happens in my life in 2022, because we can't know the future. Reason will not get us that far, but our emotions, I think, will lead us in the right direction. And on the flip side, I think that some of my emotions that are related around anxiety and fear, I just need to not care about those, because I think I listen to those too much now. And I think, oh, I just feel so uncomfortable by this, surely it must be wrong. And when it's something that I know is not dangerous or not bad, like YouTube, for example, or talking about different things online, I think I should just ignore those feelings and go with the other parts of my emotions that think that, oh, this might lead to an interesting place, or this might help people, or this might be something that I just want to do potentially. So yeah, that was quite a long list of habits I want to quit in 2022. I think I've been thinking about a lot of these and testing them out for the last few weeks anyway, so I don't think that I'm going to be too worried. I think the most difficult one will genuinely be deleting Snake from my phone. I think the rest of them are reasonable and things that I'm very, very excited to do. So yeah, if you made it so far, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Be kind to yourself and others, and don't believe everything you think. Thanks. Bye.